Hi again, everyone. So this is Len and Alex, and in this episode, we'll be going to Bratislava, or it's the capital of Slovakia, and we went there on a day trip from Vienna. We only had a few days in Vienna, but we thought since Slovakia was right there, we might as well check it out. As we'll explain in the video, it's not too far away. So we made it to the fifth video in our series. Congratulations for whoever did make it this far. Probably not that many, but hopefully more might come. I don't know. We're not aiming to be YouTubers. But anyways, enjoy the video.
The train's coming
Alright, so it's about 7:37 in the morning, and we're headed to Bratislava in Slovakia, waiting for the train at Vienna Central Station. So, any thoughts?
It's early.
It's early. Yeah. Well, hopefully we can go there and get a cheaper breakfast than we would here. We'll see. But yeah, we'll be there at least until the afternoon, then come back here. So yeah. The train from Vienna to Bratislava took about 45 to 50 minutes, which was just about the perfect distance for a day trip, so we thought, why not? We took the train to Bratislava and arrived at a station called Petržalka, which is not the main station or in the city center, due to the way the rail network is laid out to go directly from Vienna to the central part of Bratislava. You have to make some odd railroad changes or track changes. But anyway, we still made it without incident. And we thought originally we did want to get some public transport tickets, but we realized we were short on cash and didn't know where to get it. The station didn't have too many facilities, so we just decided to walk into the city center from Petržalka, which altogether was maybe like, I don't know, half an hour or so. Weather was okay. It was early, so not too hot. Saw some interesting things. Thing that looked like hockey sticks. The environment itself wasn't the most exciting, maybe a little drab, just because it was more of a suburban area or residential area rather than an old part of town or something more scenic. But it was alright. It was different, new. You could see some things like the castle and stuff already just getting there. Yeah. You have any thoughts?
I liked it.
Yeah, it was neat. They had a UFO bridge there too, as you could see in the video, and a skate park under the bridge. And we did end up walking across the bridge. We didn't go up to the UFO tower, which I believe has a restaurant in it. I did regret on the bridge not doing a better camera view out over the waters of the Danube. But yeah, camera regrets aside, it was a good walk. And once we made it to the city center, we did find a cafe where we thought we could get some breakfast, and we did. I'll try again. So we're in Bratislava at a cafe having some breakfast because we left kind of early. Castle's up there. We'll go there later. How do you feel?
Hungry?
Hungry? Yeah, me too. Food will come soon. Following our breakfast in Bratislava, we decided to go up to the castle since that was the first thing which caught our eye, literally, because you can see it as soon as you come over the bridge. And we did have to take a fair amount of stairs to get up there, but it was a nice chance to sort of experience the older part of town, I suppose. As you saw earlier in the video, we walked past what used to be a synagogue. Obviously, you can guess what happened to it during the Second World War. But yeah, some nice staircases, nice older, you could say, I guess, rustic looking buildings, but I thought it was charming. It was starting to get hot, so as I stressed in the video, I cut the sound, but I did say to Linn we didn't have to rush. There was no shortage of stairs, and we had a ways to go until we made it to the top. Yeah, some nice views from up there, though. Well, when trees weren't obstructing the view. But we weren't entirely sure what awaited us in the castle, but it seemed appealing enough just to go check it out. At the bare minimum, we'd get some nice views. Yeah. At least we were full at that point, so you had some energy to go up the stairs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think when you first saw the castle?
It was cool.
It was cool. You gotta get some new words.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm the one filling in all the blanks here. So they did have a garden in front of the castle too, which was, yeah, visually pleasing. Yeah. But aside from inside the castle, the highlight was definitely the views from up there. You can see the Danube from one side, and they had the Parliament on another side. And you'll see it later as we, progress further along in this video sequence. But we did decide to go into the museum because this is the castle, but it also serves as the Slovak National Museum. So inside they have a lot of different exhibits, which we'll show some pictures of. The inside was quite nice. They had some pottery exhibits. They had exhibits about where the double cross, their national symbol, comes from. Long story short, it actually comes from Hungary, which uses the same symbol, but the Slovaks just decided we'll use it too. And yeah, interesting looking crucifixes. They had a lot of those. They had something about, it wasn't included in this photo sequence, but they had a charter granting Bratislava their coat of arms, and apparently Bratislava was the first city in Europe to be granted a coat of arms, according to the History Museum. They might be exaggerating a bit because, it's a Slovak History Museum, so of course they want to make Slovakia look good, so didn't double check that. But we did, we decided to go up the tower just to see the views from there. It was very hot in there. There was actually a sign on the door warning people that you probably shouldn't go up the tower because it was very hot. And yeah, Linn was struggling a bit. Completing those other stairs. And understandably so, because I was also getting a bit heated up myself. But eventually we did make it to the top. And there were those were probably the best views actually. Just because, fewer obstructions from trees, people, whatnot. Yeah, definitely worth the climb. And the museum itself is also very nice too. So, would recommend if you are there. Just be sure to bring some water and some towels if you're there in the summer. And perhaps a cooling pack for your head. Or, yeah, something similar. Afterwards, because it was right next to the museum, we decided to just check out this. There was the Slovak Parliament right next to the museum, along with the souvenir shop. The souvenir shop was interesting, just what you would expect from one. Yeah, some Slovak flags and such. We couldn't go into the Parliament, unfortunately, because I did research beforehand, being a politics nerd, about which parliaments we could go into in all these countries we were visiting, and I don't think this one offered any public tours, or at least not like you can just show up and then do it. Or I didn't even see anything you could book online. Anyways, it was still worth checking out, and the view from there was also nice. They had a cool fountain in front. Yeah, any closing thoughts, Linn?
I like Slovakia. It was less crowded than the other places.
Yeah, it was less crowded, so.
Alright, so it's about 12:30 in the afternoon now. We just finished going into Bratislava Castle behind the walls here. I thought it was pretty cool. What do you think?
Better than the National Museum of Czechia.
Better than Czechia. Yeah, Czechia's was sort of all over the place. This one was pretty focused. We're Slovaks. This is what we found here. This is our symbol. Yeah, that's it. But that's good. So now we'll walk back towards the city center and try to find maybe a grocery store or just ways to beat the heat because it's pretty hot today. Not as hot as before. But yeah, Bratislava is pretty cool. I think maybe many people don't come here if they go to Vienna. It's quite close, but probably a similar situation to Copenhagen and Malmö. Not a lot of people go to Copenhagen, not as many to Malmö. But yeah, we'll see what else they have to offer here.
Bye-bye.
Following our trip to the castle, we made our way back into the main part of the old city, or I guess the central part of the city. We weren't super duper hungry yet, but we knew we probably would be later. So we just decided to walk around in the city and see if there was anything good. It wasn't too hot. There were some nice shady areas, so pretty pleasant to have a stroll in. We did see the U.S. Embassy as well. Didn't look inviting in the slightest, but just something interesting. We saw a number of buildings, the Slovak National Theater, and some other things. The thing about Bratislava is it's very walkable. It's pretty small because they do have public transport and stuff, which, as you'll see later in the video, we did use to get back to the station because we didn't feel like walking all the way back to the Petrojalka station. It was just, yeah, we were already tired from the day. Some tickets back on public transport. And they had some interesting tourist draws, like the man at work statue, the guy crawling out from the manhole, which supposedly represents the working class spirit of the city. We also went by the main square, just whatever happened to be within, I guess, the general central city area, because it's pretty compact and walkable. Like I said, you can take trams and buses, but I feel like to get to most touristy places you don't need to. But we were getting hungry at that point, so a secondary mission was finding some food. So we did stop by a few places to look at the menu. Yeah. What did you think? Was there any Slovak food you thought I need to try?
Not really. It looked a bit odd.
It looked a bit odd. For me, I heard about the fried cheese, and I guess spoiler alert, that is what I ended up having. They were in several restaurants which had it. We were staying in the touristy area, so we probably didn't get as good of a deal as we could have if we went out a little further. But yeah, it was good to just, stretch our legs a bit. Yeah, keep our heart rates up, experience the city. I feel like one thing I just always enjoyed doing, or I rarely get tired of, is just walking around in a new place, because you're always bound to find at least something interesting, even if it can be a. So yeah, we continued our walk, and we didn't really find anything else restaurant-wise outside the center city, but yeah, as you can see, were some trams, which we didn't ride on this time, but of course we can still enjoy looking at. And before we decided on getting lunch, we did get some public transport tickets because we knew we wanted to take that back and just go into a bookstore. And then we ultimately just decided to go back to that restaurant you saw previously and get some food. Following some lunch, I decided that, well, since we're here, we did go to a grocery store, by the way, that wasn't included in the footage. But one last thing I wanted to see was the Slovak radio building, which was built during the Czechoslovak era. And it's well, you'll see it when we come to it, but it's known as sort of a local landmark just due to the unusual architecture. So I thought, since it wasn't more than a 15-20 minute walk, we could at least check it out before we, went back, because we were both getting a bit tired. It was a bit hot, and we had seen most of what we wanted to see in Bratislava to head back to Vienna. But yeah, we had to stop and see this cool looking inverted pyramid style building, which is still the home to Slovak radio and television, I believe, the national broadcaster. And we did inadvertently on our way back also see the Slovak presidential palace, as you'll see here. But we also almost missed our bus. It's now the end of the day on the 13th. We're currently on the riverside, or no, this is a lake now, the old Danube River. They dammed it off, so it's a lake now, but people like to come here for recreation and all that. So we're hanging out here, it's nice. And yeah, today we're mostly in Bratislava. So what did you think about Bratislava?
It was good.
It was good.
I liked it.
You like to?
Chill,
Yeah, chill. I will say, yeah,
get more food for the same amount of
that
money.
yeah, compared to Vienna, it's definitely cheaper. Um, but yeah, it was smaller and not as many people there. I do think you could draw a parallel with Copenhagen and Malmö. But if you ever are in Vienna, I mean, obviously there's a lot to do, and we won't get to do some things because of our decision to go. But definitely check out Slovakia, Vienna, or Bratislava from Vienna. I mean,
They don't speak English well.
yeah, they don't speak English well. So if you stay in the touristy areas, it'll be okay. But then we went to a sports store and no, but that's fair. It's fair. You know, it's their country. Um, they probably don't deal with too many foreigners in those types of places when you're off the, out of the main city.
Looked very local.
Yeah, very local. As in, yeah, you only hear Slovak. So it was cool. And tomorrow we go to Budapest. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
It's okay.
Yeah, the language is going to be even more different.
But is it pronounceable?
I don't know.
Slovak Czech is not pronounceable or memorable.
Well, we're just
Easy
not
to
we're just not
remember.
used to it. And yeah, they have some sounds like the R, or you can see on my shirt the R with the Quran. Yeah, it's supposedly a cross between a sh and a r, so something like that. I don't know. It ends up sounding like sh to me, but yeah. Anything else you want to add, or I guess we can sign off.
Sign off.
Sign off. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, we'll go hang out by the river. See you from Budapest, like.
And that concludes our trip to Bratislava and also partially Vienna. Yeah, any final thoughts? We talked a bit in the video when we were there, but anything else you'd like to share about Bratislava, Slovakia?
It was cool.
It was cool. Yeah, not much for words.
No.
Okay, well, you don't have to be a wordsmith to be a YouTuber. But yeah, we hope you enjoyed the video. And next episode, we'll be going to Hungary, which will probably be our last two-parter since we have a fair amount of footage for it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye bye.